Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading satellite office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Monday, March the 25th, 2013, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. Want to first start by taking a look to see how the indices closed the session out here for the day. The Dow Jones was down a little over 64 points. The Nasdaq was down close to 10 points, and the S&P 500 was down a little bit over 5 points. If we take a look at the breadth today, we had 3,564 issues declining on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. We had 2,505 issues advancing on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. So the breadth was definitely in favor of the bears today, and we can see that from the market action that we had today. So let's go ahead and take a look at the charts here and take a look at a couple key stocks. We'll take a look at the general indices and a couple of the key sectors first, and we'll break down the stocks and talk about some of the trades that we had today and what we will be watching going into tomorrow's session. All right, so starting off with the SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF, closed down 65 cents, 0.42% to close the session down to close the session at 154.95. Based on this daily chart right here, you can see we're pretty much trading in a range here, off right above this key prior resistance, now support, which is this 153.25 area or so, and then the resistance is from last week's high that we made, which is around 156.84. So we're talking about a $1.60 range or so. Sorry, $3.60 range here that we're trading in on the SPY. And really, until we break out of this little congestion right here, we could consolidate at these levels for a while, since we did have a nice move up. The selling pressure that's coming in the market is getting, buyers are still coming in off those lows there. As you can see here, buyers are still coming in and buying the dips off the lows. And that may be what we need for a correction. Instead of correcting through a decline, we could correct through time by trading sideways and just building a bigger base up here above this 153 area. However, of course, this is a headline news market right now with all the news out of Europe. They could release some news out there that people may want to sell and then knock us right back below 153, this little pivot resistance right here, which is now support on this side. So levels you want to work off of, folks, is this 154 level. I discussed this in the weekend review. Last week we were trading in a range basically between 154 and 156. So far you can see that range is still being contained here. Today's resistance level was 156. We opened up at 156. We rallied up a little bit, then we sold off to the lows, and we bounced off the lows. So we're still in this range right here. So keep on watching this 156 and this 154 area. Once we break out of this level, out of this range, we'll be able to gauge the market from there. All right, if we sell off tomorrow, look for a move back down towards the 154. If we break below 154 and hold, look for them to try to take it down towards 153.50, maybe 153. We'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, though, the moving averages are still holding as support. The 20-day moving average and exponential moving average is still supporting support. It's still acting as support on the daily chart of the SPY, and you can use that level as a reference level as well. That level is currently 154.36 on the daily time frame. All right, if we take a look at the triple Qs today here, the triple Qs, they were down 25 cents. All right, down 0.36%, closing the session down here at 68.34. Again, we are in this nice little possible rising wedge pattern right here. Of course, you guys know these usually resolve to the downside. All right, but it's not really can't get focused on for the downside really until we break below 67.38, the bottom of the trend line right here. Okay, so until then, expect this nice little sideways consolidation. I'm actually going to move this little trend line right here to the lows that we have around right here, where the bodies are closing above here, and we can say we're trading in a range between 67.86, all right, and this 69 level here. That's the range that you really want to watch on the triple Qs. Excuse me, as I know I have a lot of other jongs in here that I'm watching, so let me clear this chart up a little bit for you guys here. Hide the rectangles, hide some of these little prior support levels, hide all of them real quick, and then you can see the pattern a little bit cleaner. This is what we're watching right here, folks. Nice little rising wedge that's in play. All right, again, the triple Qs are trading in a range between 69 and 68, and we have to watch this pretty closely, because what can happen here is we consolidate for a little bit more and then get a big breakdown underneath this channel. This rising wedge plays out to the downside, or we consolidate a bit and we break to the top side above 69, and we just have a a nice move up here after all this little congestion right here, tried to break out, pulled back in. Now we moved back up, consolidated again here. The Qs, the triple Qs, they're really trying to figure out which way they want to go. This thing has basically, if you've been trading the triple Qs, you basically have been having a tough time. I would say trading this because it's consolidating, breaking out, pulling back in. Now we had this again. We had this nice little up move off the lows, and now we're trying to consolidate right here to see what's going to happen. A move like this that's usually up, moves to the top side and consolidates is usually indicative of a continuation move to the top side. However, again, this thing has already trapped a whole bunch of people before, so we'll have to wait and see how this sets up. But just make sure you have this pattern on watch on your charts, and just know that we're trading in the range between 69 and I would say 67.50 or so, 67.75. Okay. Taking a look at the IWM. IWM, made a nice little move today. Then it faded right back to the downside and closed off the lows. A lot of chop action today, guys, but I would say today was some pretty clean action in the SPY if you were looking to trade the indices, or if you were looking to trade some stocks. Today was actually a pretty decent day to trade. So anyways, IWM is trading in a range here. We can identify a range here between 95 and 93. A lot of chop action going on right now. However, if we break below, I would say 93 and start holding below that 93 and 92.70 level, look for a move back to the downside towards these 50-day simple moving averages around 91. If we continue to consolidate above this key level that I've been highlighting to you guys to watch, this 92.70 level and this 95 level, then you can say, okay, we're probably just in a range consolidating a bit here, possibly for another move higher. We'll have to wait and see. Those are the levels that you want to watch on the IWM. We take a look at the dollar futures to see what the dollar futures did today. The dollar was pretty strong today against the euro. We did have some buyers in the dollar today, just as well as we had some sellers in the euro, which we'll take a look at here shortly. And again, a strong dollar usually leads to weak equity markets, weak commodity stocks, weak stocks that do any companies that do a lot of business overseas. Right, on a strong dollar, they usually get hit a little bit, so keep that in mind as well. So anyway, the dollar's looking pretty strong, and if we take a look at the euro was weak today. I did not get a chance to take a look to see what the euro dollar closed at here, but just a real quick glance, and you can see that the euro dollar is starting to make its way back to the downside here. All right, and back inside. Take off my studies here real quick. And back inside this little key channel line that I've been watching with you guys here. All right, ever since we called the breakout back in late December out of this little range. All right, we've been looking for this euro to try to break below this key trend line right here. And you can see every time it breaks below the level, it bounces right back up, But now, one thing that I'm noticing is that it's starting to get some selling pressure, making these lower highs right here. And at the same time, it's holding some support at my little key proprietary trend line right here from this channel. Now, if we break below this 128.5 area or so, look for a move down towards the bottom of this channel that I have, which is going to be like around 127.5, which also lines up with the level that they were buying it off of before. All right, from this little prior resistance, we broke out, acted as support. Now we're going to look to see if it wants to act as a magnet to the level that was prior support from down here. Remember, this is at an angle. This is not your regular channel analysis. This is some of my proprietary channel analysis that I worked with you guys before, as we were able to watch the gold miners get crushed and track it as they got crushed via the system and a couple other strategies and techniques that we use. All right, so euro dollar in general is what I'm trying to say. Euro dollar is looking pretty weak. If we continue to see the selling pressure in the euro dollar and we move down towards this bottom trend line, look for the dollar to pop up and look for the equity markets to try to pull in a bit, or if not, trade sideways. As you can see on the ES today, we had that selling pressure come in, but they bought us right back up. And if we take a look at the currencies here, all right, you can see that the euro was pretty weak in the morning, and then around 1 o'clock they started buying it up, and that's exactly when the equity markets try to get bought up right around 1 o'clock. You can see the dollar was pretty strong throughout most of the session here. They started pulling back around 1 o'clock, and that's when the euro got a bounce. That's when the equity markets got a bounce. So it's really, you really got to make sure you watch these currency trades intraday if you're trading the equity markets. Excuse me. So that's how the equity markets are looking. Let's take a look at some of these commodity stocks here and some of these commodities here. Starting off with gold via the GLD. Let's take a look, see what GLD did today. GLD was down 31 cents. Put my studies back on the chart here real quick for us. Sorry about that. GLD was down 31 cents, gap down and got bought up. So short-term resistance on the GLD is around this 156.82 level. Some supports down here around 153. Those are levels you really want to watch, 156, 153. After having this nice little move up, we need to wait for GLD to kind of establish a type of a little higher base, something to work off. Try to look for maybe a pushback through these 156.82s. Or if we come back down towards the bottom of the range of 153, we want to see if buyers are going to step in at 153 or down here near the 151.5 area. All right, if we take a look at SLV, silver, via the ETFs here. Silver is trading in a range. Again, this is going to be a nice range. It's going to set up to give you opportunity to trade out of here once it breaks above and holds or breaks below and sells here. But silver, SLV trading in a range between 28.50 and 27.50. And this is going to give you a nice opportunity here once it breaks out or breaks down. All right, what else do we want to take a look at here? As you guys know, copper is pretty weak. They were talking about that on CNBC today. I talked about that in the weekend review video. And I've been talking about that in the prior videos when I shown that copper chart and we see it breaking to the downside. Now, since I mentioned it, I might as well go ahead and bring up the chart right now so I can show you all and see how it closed out today's session. But again, copper is looking pretty weak. It's in a downtrend channel. What is this telling us? Usually copper is a good sign of global growth and demand. And right now it's telling us that ever since mid-February, we've been in a downtrend. So maybe something's up. We'll have to keep a close eye on this and track this in the coming weeks to see what happens in the copper field. Okay. All right. So let's talk about some stocks here real quick. Actually, let me go over the VIX real quick. Take a look to see how the VIX closed out the session today. The VIX was up a little bit today here. Up 17 cents. We pulled off the highs a little bit there going into the last hour, 2 hours of the day. Ever since we got that bounce around 115, the VIX started pulling back a bit. But as you can see, we're still starting to see a little bit more green bars here. Right, nice little wide range green bars, even though they pull back in or we gap down, and so they cause it to cancel out the buy bar. We're starting to see some buyers come in here and buy this volatility. So we definitely got to keep a close eye on that. And if there's no fear in the market and the market bounces right back up, well, you're going to see the volatility index go right back below 12 and maybe try to retest these 11s down here. All right, so let's go and talk about some stocks. Of course, a lot of you guys out there trade Apple, so let's talk about Apple first. See how Apple closed out the day here. Apple was up $1.67 here. Was closed off of its highs. You can see it's chopping around these 50-day simple and exponential moving averages. If you guys recall, when Apple was at like 450, we talked about 466 being the target for the moving averages. That level got hit today as we hit a high on Apple of 470, 469.95. Call it 470. All right, Amazon was a bit weak today. Let me see what Amazon did. I'm not sure if it was able to close off of its lows or what, but Amazon was closed the session down to $1.73. Try to stage a little bounce since it had a nice little reversal bar on Friday, but as you can see, they opened it up, gapped it up higher, ran it up a little bit, then closed it right back in the middle of the range from Friday's action. Still looks a bit decent. May need to carve out a little bit of support down here. The level that most people are working off of, I believe, will be this 252 from Friday's low, so keep that in mind. We'll have to keep an eye on Amazon to see if we can get a reversal in there. If not, this thing looks to go lower, back down towards, I would say, this 200-day moving average right here around 246. So we'll keep an eye on that, as that's $10 more to the downside. eBay was weak today. My partner was talking about eBay. I did not even get a chance to take a look at the chart here, but eBay had some nice selling pressure today. I would definitely keep an eye on this one tomorrow. Let me take off my studies here, my drawings here. And you see this is an ugly reversal bar that if you were buying eBay last week, I mean, anytime last week, even from Monday, from the get-go, you just got canceled out today all in one day. So if you were like, oh, let me hold eBay, see if I can make some more profits, and you didn't take any profits on the way up from your Monday buy, your Tuesday early morning buy, this thing just pretty much put you in the flat or to a slight losing position. So eBay's a weak stock, wide range bar. This thing may consolidate a bit and then break down, or may have another wide range bar tomorrow, then consolidate. We'll have to wait and see. There is some gap fill action down here that did not get filled around 50.11 and between 50.11 and 50.44. That may be the target, and that comes from the gap up that they had on Tuesday, that the stock had on Tuesday. All right, one of the best performing stocks today in the market was APOL. We were able to catch this for a good trade in the trading room. If you want to see how we traded that, take a look at the Facebook page where I posted the analysis that showed us getting into the trade with the stop from the chat room and all that other good stuff. Or you could take a look at the midday market update that I put out this morning. But this stock had a nice little bounce in the morning. You can see it ran all the way up to 1950, which was our first target when we got long at 1891. And then, I don't know, this thing just pretty much gave all of its gains back, and now looks like it may want to come right back down. They gave that, looks like this little pop-up was an opportunity for some of those people that had been stuck in the stock since mid-February to get out the position there. All right. So anyway, APOL was one of the stronger stocks in the market, but you can see it closed on its lows. We were able to make a nice little morning trade off of that one. Some of the banks were weak today. Goldman Sachs had a nice little pop up in the morning, then started giving it back, and now you can see it kind of closed in the middle of the range from Thursday's action here. This stock holding below this 144.70 level, and then breaking below 144 can get some nice action. Like I explained last week, this stock had a nice little smooth cruise up with no congestion going on, so this thing could have an actually could have another nice smooth move down, since there's really no solid support levels to kind of support it while it's coming down, because there's no congestion and then breakout. Congestion breakout is just a smooth move up. So Goldman Sachs was weak today, looks to go lower if you ask me. We'll have to wait and see how these financials trade in the coming days and coming weeks to see if they want to pull back and get bought up from some dip buyers, or if they want to actually pull back and start getting some real profit taken in the names, since the names have been rallying for some time now, and the names, all these financials have been rallying since July and June or so. Bank of America, little fake breakout over 1245, could be developing a little trap from this little break of this little double top action right here. All right, if we continue to hold below 1240, I would say look for this thing to try to pull back in these little moving averages, maybe back down towards 1180 or so. All right, and last but not least, another bank I want to go over is JP Morgan. All right, JP Morgan was down 26 cents today. Remember, anybody that got long the stock above 49.50, they're currently stuck in a bull trap right now because they're in a losing position. And if JP Morgan starts to break down, if they're long from these levels up here and they're like, okay, let me give it a chance to work out a bit, and we start to sell off, they're going to start feeling some pain. Then it's going to be, okay, how much pain can they take? If they can't take any more pain, they're going to start dumping. And then when people start seeing that the stock's weak, they're going to start selling. So there could be two sellers that can get involved here on this JP Morgan trade. And sorry if I'm talking kind of fast, but I'm just trying to wrap this video up for you guys. It's already going into 17 minutes here. So JP Morgan, this stock really needs to get back above 50. If it continues to hold below 49.50, I would look for the stock to get some selling pressure back to the downside. All right, some strong stocks out there today. Well, Visa was a strong stock today. All right, we talked about this one in the chat room as well. We were talking about this one all morning in the chat room, so some traders in our room were able to catch this trade. Also talked about this trade on StockTwits, Twitter, Facebook, so make sure you follow us on those social media networks, people. Again, look at this stock here. Nice, clean, upward channel. That doesn't get any better than this. Little fake breakout into the top of the channel. Sideways consolidation to stabilize a bit here. Build this 154 base. All right, and now institutional money may be getting back involved in here, as now you can work off of this little 156 pivot right here, with the target being the top of the channel, guys. This one looks pretty good for a move up towards 170 in the coming weeks, coming days, coming weeks here. So keep Visa on your top radar. I was looking at MasterCard to see if MasterCard would follow, but MA did not follow. This one's still trading sideways. May follow tomorrow, so make sure you keep an eye on the MasterCard. I do not trade as it's very expensive, but you could always trade it with options. Discover Card Financial, DFS, take a look at some of these other credit card companies. DFS made new highs today, pulled right back in. Capital One Financial, this one was up 49 cents today. Keep an eye on this one as well. I'm actually going to set an alert right now over this over today's highs here. Maybe there may be some money trying to flow back into some of these credit card companies after they take a look at that Visa. So we'll see. It's always good to put alerts on these stocks. And then we have American Express, AXP. So let's see what this one did today. And this one made new highs today as well, then pulled back in a bit. Not a fast mover, not a big wide range mover at all, this stock here. All right. What else do I want to take a look at? Some energy stocks. ExxonMobil. Let's see what ExxonMobil did today. ExxonMobil was down 27 cents. This one's really just trading in a range between 88 and 90. Chevron was weak today. Makes sense. This one has been going up for a while here. Some profit taking going on ever since it broke past this little level right here. Remember, this was back when Visa had the same type of pattern like Chevron, except Chevron continued. Take a look at that after it broke over these 116s, and then take a look what Visa did. All right, because I was looking at these two stocks, and these two stocks popped up earlier in the year as strong stocks. You take a look at Visa did, right? Visa tried to break out right there, then it came right back in, consolidated, and now it's breaking out. So that looks pretty good right there again. What else do I want to cover here? Anything else I want to cover? All right, let me see some strong stocks today. Just bringing up my little trade thing here, my trading system fusion platform. All right, some of the retail stocks continue their strength today as well. TJ Maxx, we were talking about that one Friday in the chat room. This one had a nice little continuation move today. This was also on the power hitter sheet, and our power hitter sheet is right here. We had Visa on watch, QCOM, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, of course, we had a nasty day today. So we had some decent stocks on watch. But TJX in general, continuation play. Raw stores were strong on Friday as well. Let's see what this one did today. This one had a little pause day today, did not continue. All right, so retail sector is definitely getting some buyers in there and some key names. All right, again, you have to make sure you do your analysis and your research so you can know what names that you're looking for. And if you come join us here at wallstreettrading.com, we do a lot of that for you guys, especially if you come join us in the room. We have a good group of guys that help that help us out as we maneuver you guys through the markets pretty good here. So Lulu had a little pause day today after having some selling pressure on Friday. Have to continue to watch his name to see if he wants to break below 62 and hold for a nice little short sell opportunity. I talked about this one in the weekend review as the weekly chart is breaking this little trend line here. Let me just slide this over real quick. Weekly chart here breaking this nice trend line that's been holding as support since 2010. This thing should move lower, but may try to bounce up a bit before it moves lower, so keep an eye on this Lulu stock. What else did I want to talk about? One more thing. Yeah, LinkedIn. LNK. The LinkedIn had a nasty pull in today. Makes sense. This thing has been on a tear, so had a nice little pullback today. We had some profit takers coming in. Doesn't mean that the world is over in LinkedIn. Just shows you that it's consolidating a bit here between this 171 level and this 184.15. So nice little sideways action right here. Still in good shape. Just a little pause day today. Aside from that, folks, hope you guys had a great day. I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning in the live chat room, mywallstreettv.com. To get the password for that chat room, make sure you go to wallstreettrading.com and fill out the 14-day free trial on the right-hand side. Have a lot of good stuff going on, guys. You got to be there to check it out. And if you're interested in trading with our prop firm because you need leverage, you don't have the full $25K to trade at a retail firm, contact me via email at ccooper@wallstreettrading.com or contact our support at the website via the email there, and we will be able to help you as well. Have a great day, folks. Cheers.